The modern software testing playbook from playwright CI/CD pipelines to AI-powered autonomous testing agents. Testing is code insurance, the cost multiplier curve. Production bugs trigger emergency debugging, hotfix customer support drains, and a loss of user trust. Development is $1x, integration is 10x, and then a production is like 100x. Finding and fixing a bug in a production is 10 to 100 times more expensive than finding it during development. The cost of a failure matrix, financial devastation, Knight Capital 2012, JetBrains Mono, bug, untested software updates triggered erratic market rates, lost $440 million in just 45 minutes, the company never recovered. Physical danger, threat to be 1980s, radiation, therapy medicine software failed to handle specific concurrent inputs, delivered massive radiation overdoses, caused multiple fatalities. Systemic failure, inadequate testing of flight control software under specific edge cases, scenario Boeing 737 MAX, contributed directly to two fatal crashes on a global fleet grounding. Whether building trading algorithm or e-configuration starts unhandled sprints have real-world cost. The testing pyramid diagnostic table, unit integration E to E scope, entire system or user perspective, speed is slow, bitter or UI dependent vulnerability, volume is few, component interaction API plus DB, speed is seconds, vulnerability is moderate, volume is some, isolated function or a method, speed is milliseconds, vulnerability is reliable and isolated, volume is 1000. The pyramid shape deducts volume, fast isolated unit tests form the foundation, slower complex E2E test sits sprinkled at the top. Anatomy of a playwright test setup, start from a clean state, clear the card before every test runs. Remote controlling the browser simulates exact user keystrokes and a click, and then the verification tests fail immediately if this expected state isn't met. Test dot before each async page, await clear card page, test user can complete checkout, async, await page dot locator, has search dot fill keyword, await page dot locator, has search btn dot click, await expect page dot locator, toast to be visible, this thing. The targeting hierarchy, stable and a meaningful, data, test ID, role is equal to button, name is equal to login, best practice, impervious to UI redesigns, contextual text, add to cart, placeholder text, good but breaks if copywriters change the text. Brittle, div is greater than ul is greater than li dot in a child 3 greater than a, anti-pattern, break on minor DOM updates. The fundamental UI testing pattern action, example, click add to cart on a product, never test on action without varying both the immediate feedback and the final state change. Immediate feedback, verify temporary system response, example, toast message, item added appears, state change, verify permanent system alteration, example, cart header count updates from 0 to 1. Beyond the happy path, the nothing input scenario, submitting an empty search form or a checking out with 0 item in the card, ensure the app shows all products or fails gracefully with a toast error rather than crashing. The nonsense input, typing random string or exceeding maximum character limits, goal, verify 0 state screens, no results found, render correctly without breaking layout. The malicious input, pasting JavaScript into a search box, prevent cross-site scripting by ensuring the input is sanitized and not executed by the browser. API mocking the network interceptor. TechMart APIU, network request page.route, then its stock is 0, status is 0, injected mock response. Crucial mocking use cases, simulate downtime, force a 500 internal server error to test UI error states, simulate latency, inject a 3-second timeout to verify loading spinners, edge case data, force an out of stock response without altering the live DB. Accessibility is a code quality. Screen readers rely entirely on alt text. Without it, the reader simply announce image, rendering visual content useless. Without explicit label mapped to inputs, blind user encounter text box with 0 context. They don't know if it is from an email, password or such query. Skipping heading label H1 to H3 breaks logical navigation for assistive technologies akin to reading a book with missing chapter. If critical buttons or checkout links cannot be reached, strictly by pressing the tab key. They are functionally invisible to users with motor disabilities. The single UI design or CSS class update can instantly break dozens of brittle test selector, requiring hours of a manual recording. Tests with that randomly pass or fail due to network variability, dynamic content, or a millisecond timing issue erode them trust. Writing a single complex checkout flow requires 50 lines of precise code. It demands deep JavaScript or Python knowledge, locking out QA analysts and product managers from contributing. The programming set Playwright versus AI agent, traditional automation, Playwright, manual coding, JavaScript, Python, brittle, fails immediately if target ID changes, developers and automation engineers only, highly precise, granular CI/CD logic control. Plain English prompt, auto healing understands intent, find alternative, accessible to QA, product manager, and stakeholder, rapid prototyping, wide cross browser scaling, high speed coverage. The mechanics of auto scaling context developer updates ID from BTN submit to BTN primary. Traditional framework test submit login form async await page dot click has button submit fated error selector has BTN submit not found test fail execution halt AI agent Kane AI test submit log form async await page.ai.click submit form intent recognize submit form element located via semantic context test passes scripts heal itself. The unified quality ecosystem, human insight, human freed from boilerplate code, focusing entirely on finding unknowns and evaluating user experiences. Product managers and a QA using plain English to rapidly generate test coverage and auto heal brittle UI changes at a scale. Handling critical hyper-precise regression directly inside the CI/CD pipeline, code level written by developer, fast forward running in millisecond on every queue. The modern tester checklist. Tests must never depend on the outcome of another. Set of fresh data, run the test and clean up. They should run reliably in any order. Stop interacting with raw elements. Abstract a UI into reusable page one into reusable page object to make massive tests readable and maintainable. Tests that do not run regularly provide zero value. Integrate Playwright or AI agent directly into a CI/CD pipeline to block broken code from merging. Discard test underscore 123. Use descriptive behavioral names like should display error when password too short. Your test suite is your living documentation.